And welcome back to Debate News 9 Toyota Sports Connection. What a great time for college basketball, and here in the state with the Florida Gators going for their second national championship. USF with a huge hire right now, looking for the right guy to try to take this program to a big level. Yes, they play in the Big East. Who better to talk about college hoop? The all-time USF Bull grade. He could shoot the lights out. He is here with us tonight, a raging bull. He's got a book out, History of USF and his great career. That would be the one, the only, Tony Grier. Tony, how are you?
Rock, always good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you. This has got to be a good time. And, you know, you being a USF guy, you got the book out, A Raging Bull, all about USF. And when you came in and I asked you about the Florida Gators, and you're like, I think that that's even great for USF. I don't understand. How so?
Basketball. Florida's always been a football state. I think one of the greatest things last year when they won the national championship is that it helped basketball, the image of basketball in the state of Florida. Now, if they repeat tomorrow, that's twice in a row we've got the college champion in Florida. USF can win basically because basketball now is looked upon differently nationally from other people around the country who look at the state as just a football state. I think it's a win for everybody.
Now, it's interesting, for some of our viewers that haven't been around that long, we also have a lot of transplants that come in here, or even younger viewers. USF, when you were playing, you used to beat the Gators night in and night out, and USF was actually a higher basketball program than the Gators at the time, you think?
Well, I think we were. I think in the early 80s, because both schools got their arenas built at the same time, the O'Connell Center in 1980 and the Sun Dome. And there's a chapter in the book called the Florida Four. They has a tournament. We played actually Florida and Florida State. Jacksonville was in it as well. The four teams competed to see who was the best in the state. Well, we won that 2 years in a row. Moving forward, we just pretty much did better in the 80s, going into the early 90s. And, of course, Florida went to the Final Four in 94, and they've never looked back since.
Right.
But really, if you look at the two programs, I try to compare how, you know, both jumped out at the same time, and the game kind of took on a different look as the years have progressed. And it's only getting better for basketball in the state of Florida. And I'm happy that we have that look now in terms of the talent level and the coaching and the skill level of the programs.
Okay, now I want to get on the coaching, okay? Robert McCullum was a good man, and if a player wasn't performing off the field or off the court, or, you know, he didn't put him in, bottom line, you got to win. He's in the Big East. It's so hard, I know that. Depending on who comes in here, can USF in basketball, Tony, be able to compete and actually, like, win consistently in the Big East? Is it possible, Tony?
Absolutely. The Big East is, in my opinion, the best conference in basketball, and it is for a lot of different reasons. Right now, the conference is young. There are a lot of players that were returning, so it's really tough right now. And I know McCullum didn't think that we were going to leave Conference USA. He did say that after he was removed.
Yes,
but the Big East is the best conference. I mean, there are others out there that are just competitive, but I think that the coach that comes in will have to realize that the talent levels in the state, that people who would ordinarily go to Connecticut or St. John's would consider USF for a number of reasons. I mean, it's a great school. It's a great opportunity. You're playing in the Big East. You've got the Florida weather. I mean, there's so many intangibles that we have here to recruit guys. So I'm looking forward to the new guy to come in and get real aggressive, because now we're in the best conference. You know, years before, it was a little different. You know, we didn't play the best teams, and all those scenarios were brought up, but not anymore.
Now, one name, a lot of guys have said no thanks, okay? So where Willard is right now, we hear about O'Neal, Marquette, Tennessee, NBA experience. Also, Arkansas's guy that was just canned seem to be the two leading guys. If either one, would you have a preference? What do you think?
I think they're both good candidates. I know Heath just got removed on Monday, and it's probably a little too soon for him to decide on where he wants to go, but he very well might accept the position if offered. I know that he was pretty much one of the top candidates, at least in the last couple of days. O'Neal has kind of come about in the last 24 hours. He does have the NBA experience, and if he were the head coach, I think a lot of the blue chip players that are recruited by USF would look at that and say, wow, here's a guy that can pick up the phone and make one call to an NBA GM and make me a lottery pick. So you have to look at that in terms of your long-term career and the kind of blue chip players you want to recruit. And I think that's something Doug Willard's looking at as well.
Now, I am going to get to the book, and you also have a book signing, so we're going to tell you where Tony is. It's A Raging Bull. What a great, great book. But Florida Gators against Ohio State. It's unbelievable to me that, number one, 5 guys like that all come back. You know what it's like in this day and age. You go to the NBA, you can make so much money. And then to get to this level, to be able to play again, is just, to me, is really incredible. And that's what the NCAA really wanted. It's all about, right?
Getting back to the Final Four, major accomplishment. Getting back to the championship game, major accomplishment. The 5 guys, all averaging double figures, are great young guys. I mean, they really like playing for the University of Florida, and you could see it in the things they say and they do. I think it's great for college basketball, and I'm so happy it's happening in Florida. Ohio State's a good ball club, but I don't know if they can really compete with Florida. Florida's deep. They've got a great bench. They shoot the ball very well. Defensively, they're real strong. And Billy Donovan is he's just motivated these kids to say, look, let's start a dynasty. If we win this thing tomorrow, we can start that for the University of Florida. So I'm happy for them, but I'm more happy for the state of Florida and the image it gives college basketball.
You are a big supporter of not only college basketball here in Tampa Bay, but I know the state of Florida. Billy Donovan, if he wins the national championship back-to-back, does he go to Kentucky or does he just stay and continue in Gainesville, Tony?
I don't think it's an opportunity that he wants to look at for money or for some of the things that have been floating out there. He is kind of like second fiddle at Florida, which is a football school. Urban Meyer has done a great job, and I think that if he did leave, he would leave because he wanted to be the #1 guy at a school where basketball was the #1 thing. That, in my opinion, would be why he would leave. Now, if he wins tomorrow night, he's really done a lot for Florida. Maybe there's nothing else to do, so maybe it might be a move he would make. But I don't know. I think it's not about money, though. I can assure you that. But he's sharing the credibility and the image and the popularity in Gainesville with Urban Meyer.
Now, you, Tony, you're a very humble guy, and you had over 14,000 points. At the time, for a while, you were the all-time career scoring leader at USF, and what you guys did team-wise. Why did you do this book? It's a little bit of what USF did for you, both on and off the court, and then where USF is today, basically?
Well, the university was always a school of opportunity. And what I wanted to show was how academically and athletically there's a match. In other words, a university, when you build a Sundome, when you've only had basketball for 10 years, that's a big, bold move.
Right.
And, you know, at first administrators and people associated with the university weren't sure exactly why they wanted to do that. And so there was some conflict involved, and I share that in the chapter, The Sundome, what we went through as players in terms of being a part of that. But really, I just showed how the university grew from its first season in 1970. Don Williams was the very first coach. I was actually visiting with his family today. And,
wow,
you know, to hear the stories about the beginning and how to recruit players when you had no history,
wow,
nothing going on, nobody knew who you were, where you were. They called you Southern Florida. They thought we were in Miami. I mean, there's so many things that happen. And you move forward to Lee Rose's era with the Sundome and then Bobby Paschal, and moving right on into Seth Greenberg and, of course, Robert McCullum and the Big East and all the things that happened. Of course, his situation last year, there's a couple of chapters on what he went through and going into the Big East and the pressure he was under.
Interesting. Now, you have a book signing coming up. I know if you need information about this, baby, you go to aragingbull.com. But there it is, Tony. You will be signing on Friday, April 6th. That is this Friday, 5:30 to 7:30, and it's Bucks and Bulls Heaven.
It's going to be at Bulls Heaven, the official merchandise store for USF Bulls, and Jeff Fox runs that nice business, which if you are a USF fan, you know that you can go in there and get anything you want that has USF on it, coach jackets, sweaters, anything you need. So we'll be over there. Some of the proceeds are going to the Boys and Girls Club of Tampa Bay, so
nice,
we're happy
nice,
to be a part of that. Ricky Gallen, who's a PR guy for the Boys and Girls Club, is going to be there, and we've actually partnered together because we feel it's important to do that.
Awesome.
And I'll have some other players there from USF, and so it'll be a nice, fun day for people to come out and just have a good time. And of course, I'll be there with the book, and I'll be able to talk to people and answer questions.
Awesome. So get out there, talk a little hoop, you meet Tony, you have a good time. This Friday, 5:30 at aragingbull.com for more information, even where it's happened, bullsheaven.com. The great Tony Grier, thank you so much for stopping by, and I know you'll be watching that game tomorrow night there, Tony.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Rob.
Good man.